My fellow Ambazonians, dear people of Ambazonia, happy Independence Day. I have come to join you here today, even though one day after our Day of Independence, to wish each and every one of you, wherever you may be, our prisoners of war, our IDPs, our refugees, our brave soldiers, the defenders of our sovereignty and territorial integrity, our exiled population, on behalf of all of us, a grateful nation, and not forgetting all those who lost their lives. I want to wish you happy Independence Day and continuous resistance until you achieve your freedom. Yesterday was a solemn day for all of us. A remarkable day. I know you have been watching videos. You haven't seen anything yet. The best of what happened yesterday is still to come. You should take pride in your independence. You should take pride in your sacrifices, your resilience and endurance. You should ultimately take pride in your belief in the restoration of our sovereignty, our freedom, and our independence. You should take pride in the fact that you haven't made a bad call. You haven't made a bad judgment call to believe in this enterprise, to establish on the face of the earth the state of Ambazonia. It is our pride, our homeland. What happened yesterday should send a message to the world that the question of legitimacy has been settled. If they ever had any iota of doubt, if all of us believe in the right to our own country, the activities of yesterday should send those doubts away. And to all those who doubted us, who doubted the outcome of our endurance, for all those who have dedicated their lives to enabling colonialism, it is time you embrace nationalism. It's time you embrace the flag, the anthem, and the homeland. Traitors have no space on planet Earth. They are relegated to the dustbins of history. Yesterday, we observed from the dusty alleys of the streets of Nigeria, where our refugees, though living in squalor, dependency, and uncertainty, rose up to march in celebration and in honor of all the heroes and heroines who continue to battle the enemies of our land. From the streets of Ambazonia, we watch with exhilaration and a great sense of pride and patriotism the determination of our people. Even in Bamenda, that has been under siege, the bravery and determination of our people overcame their fears, and they took their spot in the annals of the history of our country to celebrate our Day of Independence. Yesterday, we lost 5 of our citizens in the state of Bui. 2 soldiers, 3 civilians, as the enemy attempted to disrupt our celebration. Of course, you can understand why. That's the only country in the face of the earth that does not celebrate its own day of independence. We had in the state of Momo, a soldier was wounded as they took guard to protect our civilian population from the harassment of the forces of occupation. In the great state of Meme, we lost one of the finest and bravest soldiers of our war of independence. Boss Daf fell yesterday. I can assure you, my people, on a daily basis, we grapple with a lot of pain, Boss Daf has been a fighter under General Ivo. They defended Teke. They made it a fortress and a hope for Mator, Etam, and other places. As they assembled yesterday, they were surprised by the enemy forces. Great Boss Daf went down. Hello, soldier, we wish you well. We know, and you should know wherever you may be, that you gave your life for a just cause. We thank you for your sacrifices. We thank your family. We thank your comrades who are still in arms, defending the same space that you fell on. I want to thank all of our soldiers, the great commanders. I want to thank the commanders of other forces. General Commando showed yesterday bravery and determination in rallying our people. General Ayeke in Lebialem moved our people. The generals of the Ambazonian Defense Forces across several states, from Captain Small Pikin in Fako, General Sumanguru in Momo, General Cobra in the great state of Mezam, General Ebube, General Kapo, the brave General Hassan, all from the state of Bui, had our commanders in Lebialem. You will be proud of what we did in Lebialem as the video starts streaming out. I also want to congratulate our Secretary for Education and the chairpersons of our Board of Education for the manifestation of the policy to begin community schools. You saw in the great state of Bui how our students march under the flag, under the anthem. My fellow Ambazonians, I want you to know, after the excitement comes the question, what next? You must know, we have taken a lot of time, and I really want to thank the Ambazonian Governing Council, its leadership, all the soldiers, the heads of missions, the leadership of the War Council. All what you saw yesterday was born out of hard work, the sacrifices of those who committed in finances. Our mothers in the States, in Belgium, across in different places. The wonderful men and women who sacrificed here in exile to make sure the successes of yesterday instill hope and confidence in our people that the enterprise for the liberation of our country is well and ongoing. I want to thank you all on behalf of the Ambazonian Governing Council for the sacrifices that all of you made, those who never slept, those who spent hours working hard to make sure everything went well, that the finances were all assembled, that all the logistics, the Mandelas, the different groups. I want to thank my press secretary, the DDCs, all those who went out there to mobilize our people, spoke for them when they couldn't. As I said yesterday, we all won. We won as a people. We won as a people. And my promise to you that we will win as a people will not fail. The flag went up. Ayaba didn't go up. The flag went up. The anthem was sung. That's the true spirit of nationalism, the true spirit of patriotism, a belief in an enterprise that you may never live to see, sacrifice and dedication for a cause far bigger than your own life. Before we were here, the land of Ambazonia was here. By the time we will be long gone, the land of Ambazonia will still be here. And we have made a promise, the never again generation has made a promise to bequeath to the next a better piece of land than we ever inherited and prepare a better future for them. The role of leadership in the liberation struggle is to anticipate, is to think further, far beyond the time of excitement. My people, something happened yesterday. Apart from the question of legitimacy being settled once and for all, something happened. Ambazonians march in free spaces of their country. Our soldiers were able to operate in a free land. We control territory. If you ever doubted when I said we have dynamic control of over 80% of our land, yesterday we proved to you and the world that we could translate that dynamic control into static control within 24 hours. And we did it. It wasn't by accident, it was hard work and preparation. So we have control of territory. We have control of territory. There are 4 important futures of any nation, of any state. Is the defense, the finance and the economy, the educational system, and the foundation of its health system. All along this war of independence, we have been focused on defense. We have invested 92 to 93% of all money that we have mobilized in the defense of our territorial space. For good reason. Without the space, without the defense of that space, all the other foundations of statehood cannot take effect. We have done extremely well, and we have translated that defense of homeland into ungovernability of the occupier, some level of administrative control by our people. We have projected force within our territory, and we have shown the world that in certain parts of our land, we've restored the sovereignty mortgaged to Cameroon by the United Kingdom. My fellow people, after yesterday, we all must ask ourselves, what next? Shall we, in the next 364 days, celebrate independence at this same level? Last year, we showed you something. This year, we are even better. We must make the requisite preparations that would ensure that 1st October 2021 is historic, is different, that we will be able to operate from within our own homeland. At this stage of our war of independence, we can safely, within our territory, establish a transitional authority to be in charge of issues like community education, health, policing, community development. That transitional authority can receive the protection of our forces. The only reason why we have not done so is to avoid the competing interests of political governance and defense. Because from our experience in the past 4 years, the moment you create competing interests, we lose focus on the ultimate objective of the moment, of the liberation phase, the defense of the homeland. And so control of the territory in terms of political administration and defense will still rest in the hands of our forces. They are the sole instrument of power in the territorial space of the state of Ambazonia, in its defense, in its provision of security, in the guarantee of the safety of our people, in the overseeing of community education, in the provision of health services, sanitation, and other requisite services important for the development of our people. Yet, we must move the ball further. We have talked in the last few days about education. I have made several speeches about education. I know sometimes we say the policy keeps shifting. The policy adjusts itself to the security situation. As Siseko said today, human right is indivisible, it's interrelated, it's interdependent. You cannot prioritize the right to education under the colonial system to the right to life, which is the foundation for the enjoyment of any other rights: assembly, right to dignity, freedom of speech, conscience, religion, and the right to self-determination. And so I understand that we are worried. We're worried about the future of our children. I know we're worried about the future of our children. I want to make this solemn promise to all of you. Don't be worried. The future of our children is bright. For more than 59 years under Cameroon, 98% of Ambazonians have never gotten a job in the field of knowledge they acquired in the schools in Cameroon. Never. 95 or more percent of Ambazonians are working in different fields from the one they acquired knowledge in. That shows that the system of education was not important in the development of the Ambazonian people. That is why today we are focusing on literacy for our young. Early education is critical for the development of the child. Our children will catch up. Our children will catch up, and in a better way, in a more promising way, where they will be assured that after they complete whatever level of education, the economic system would have provided for them opportunities for good jobs, good paying jobs. We must have developed the infrastructure of our country to provide opportunities for many, for millions. What you must understand is we aren't simply just fighting to free a homeland and abandon it to poverty and uncertainty. We have a vision on how that country will be developed. As I said, we didn't just, shut down, the colonial educational system, which we have always argued is a liability. We shut it down because of security. Children can be studying under the circumstances of genocide. And Ambazonia has always set the pace. Some international organizations have argued that you can't simply shut down schools even if there is insecurity. But COVID-19 has shown that the West, shut down schools. When we started lockdown, they accused us of, destroying the economy. The West has copied. Ambazonia sets the pace. We're the trailblazers. The West has been shut down, has been locked down because of a pandemic. If great countries with developed health infrastructures and systems can shut down their economy for months, even when the state is going to lose in terms of the provision of health and unemployment benefits, social securities, and others, what more of a state where there are no infrastructures to take care of wounded persons, even post-traumatic stress disorder caused by children hearing gunshots all the time? And once we make this solemn decision that the right to life and the security of our people, of our children, and the right to quality education trumps an educational system that is, creates a liability, we began immediately to work on an alternative system. And I announced a few months ago that we have put together a team of seasoned educationists, the best in the field, to look into the kind of curriculum of education that we will have that will reflect both our political and economic and social contextual realities. And they came out with one of the finest curriculum of education, modeled against, some of the best systems of education that exist in the world. They studied the educational system of Norway, they studied that of Finland, that is classified as one of the best, that of Singapore, that has moved the country that equalized most African nations from abject poverty to almost a state of, economic equilibrium and welfare equality. And they have come out with a wonderful curriculum of education. They have, remember, don't forget, we live under a system with a GCE board that you and myself fought and bled on the street for, but hijacked by the same regime. A GCE board that could still not manage our educational system. On the setting of exams script were still being set in half-baked Pidgin English and French. And we have created an alternative, the Ambazonian Board of Education, that will be representative. It's not going to simply be a hierarchical structure. It's going to be representative of the different system of education that going to be established within our country. And as we speak, you listen to me today, the board is existing and is having representatives from different states, and they are discussing different issues. Before coming online, I had a meeting with the chairlady of the board and the secretary for education, and they are working extremely very hard. We look forward to making sure that we work with international organizations like UNESCO and others to make sure that the certificates that will be given to our students after they leave these community schools will be valid. It has happened in other conflict situations, and so we should get that through. But to make this happen, we must make the investment. We must make the investment necessary. We have continuously made the investment in the defense of our homeland. And there is good news. There is good news. I want to thank all those who have committed to tough. It is that commitment that is translating all what you saw yesterday. And as we set the pace last year, when you saw soldiers marching in uniforms, all other blocks did the same this year. So that's why I tell you sometimes competition is not necessarily bad. You saw the forces of the TTA well dressed up, that of the Tigers of General Yeke well dressed up. You found this is the forces in Bali. This is the kind of spirit that we want to have. And we will continuously make the investment. And I ask each and every one of you to commit to the tough program so that we can continuously prosecute the defense and broaden and enlarge our space of control. As we broaden, we are going to institute systems within those spaces that we control that will make a huge difference in the lives of our people on the ground and convince the international community of the necessity, and urgently so, to recognize Ambazonia as an independent state and to help speed up, the release of our kidnapped prisoners of war, bring back our IDPs and our refugees. We need to invest in our system of education. And so when we look at the sacrifices Ground Zero makes on Mondays, every Monday, Ground Zero loses billions of amber. Every Monday, they shut down the economy. Women, our bayam sellers, our taxi drivers, our Okada riders, traders, educators, and professionals, nurses, doctors, they shut down. They lose money. They sacrifice. They've been doing so for 4 years. And each time we've been monitoring. There was ghost in Victoria, and we are cheering. Hoopla, hoopla. Bamenda was totally ghosted. That's wonderful. But have we ever thought of how we can replicate these sacrifices on Mondays in a way that shows Ground Zero that we are not only cheering them for ghosting the cities, but we are making the same kind of sacrifices that they are making? Of course, we can't put ourselves in harm's way because we aren't in the theater of operation. But we are making sure that we are protecting them by providing the weapons for their defense. But we can do more. That is why today I am announcing the launching of the Country Sunday Fund. The Country Sunday Fund will be a unique opportunity for the other three aspects of the foundation of any state to be taken care of. As I said, the foundation of any state is you have the defense, the educational system, you have the finance and economic system, you have the system of health. We have been focused on the defense, and I say for good reason. We must look based on the fact that we control territory. We must begin to think creatively how we make investment in our educational system, in expanding the community schools into different areas, making sure that there are private schools that are making applications to be integrated within the Ambazonian educational system network. And I know that our educational board and the educational department are considering those applications. As I wrote the other day, students below the ages of 18 should be able, to gradually pick up back under an Ambazonian control educational system. Those above the ages of 18 will still be focused on the defense of the homeland as we stabilize defense to be able to shift policy to give them possibilities at early education in within the day. So Country Sunday will be a project that will require every Ambazonian in exile to commit every Monday, even $2.50 every Monday, as Ground Zero is ghosting and sacrificing, make the necessary contribution of $2.50. A month, you must have committed $10. It will pay teachers teaching within the community schools. It will be able to take care of IDPs. And we aren't simply talking about providing monies to IDPs. Like those who are versed with the Bible, of when Jesus said, rather than give you fish, I will train you how to be, a fisherman. So each time you need to eat fish, you don't need to beg for it. So think about this. You have refugees in Nigeria, and I want to thank the IGK for constantly taking care of those refugees. They've done a great job. We saw the refugees marching, and a group of people have sacrificed a lot, and including the humanitarian sector of the Ambazonian Defense Forces, visiting these refugees and providing them support. But if you're going to provide $10 a month for Country Sunday, it will be possible to establish. Let me tell you a short story. Once I traveled to Holland, that was I think 15 years ago, invited by the mayor of Rotterdam. to speak on the issue of refugees. During lunchtime, we had lunch in a restaurant. The restaurant was run exclusively by refugees from Asia. They had come together, established a big restaurant in Rotterdam that attracted a lot of immigrants who showed them up. And I've always argued that Ambazonians must be creative, must develop an entrepreneurial spirit. So you establish even a little restaurant for our refugees in Nigeria, put, say, 2 million amber into that, and get a couple of them employed in that. They will generate enough money to provide some support to women, to girls, some form of support to our children, to the elderly, and we will not need to constantly provide them with funds. When you look at the way we run our liberation struggle, we run it as though it's going to end simply tomorrow. We make no requisite investment for long term, or simply that kind of investment that will ensure that immediately after independence, we have some funds to begin some developmental project. We haven't developed that system. And Country Sunday is going to help us develop that system to be able to provide benches for students within our community schools, to take care of our IDPs, to provide them with sanitary materials. You find in our land, in the areas we control, health infrastructures dilapidating. You find in certain places soldiers wounded, being unable to be treated because we have not made the investment in that particular area. By committing to Country Sunday, we should be able to establish health infrastructures for communities and hire nurses, train them, and begin to prepare ourselves for governance. We have set up a formidable team that will be speaking to you on Country Sunday. I appeal to each and every one of you to replicate the sacrifices of Ground Zero. When I ask you to commit to defense, it didn't take long before you saw the product of your commitment, of your investment. Soldiers well trained, well dressed up, well armed, doing community work. Today I ask you to make the same commitment for the preparation that we need to make for the period of transition. We should make long-term investment, and you will see the benefit of it. When you start seeing health centers cropping out here and there, you start seeing our children entering classes built by us. You start seeing teachers better paid than they were before. You start seeing the initiatives that will be taken with our refugees, bring the primary guarantors. That's how Palestinian refugees have been taken care of. By initiatives of Palestinians. Not always begging, but thinking, being smart in making the kinds of investment that will be necessary, not only for long-term sustainability. Think about it. You find La Republic soldiers go into community and destroy shops. 10 shops, 20 shops. What about providing a simple loan scheme to 10 shops? A loan scheme of 100,000 without interest. And after 2 months, they are able to re-establish some profit, provide back the money. You give it to the next set of Ambazonians. We cannot prosecute a war of liberation where the only thing we promise is an abstract independence. As someone once said, any religion that is focused on the spiritual need of people and not on the material need of people is a dry as dust religion. So too, any liberation struggle simply focus in the promise of an abstract political independence without the requisite investment in economic development, health infrastructures, and the kind of systems that our people can begin enjoying in spaces that they control. A new model that they can see, different from the one that they've lived under in abject poverty and delinquency. That is what Country Sunday is going to do. Every Monday, We should make the kind of sacrifices that Ground Zero makes. $2.50. A month you must have given 10. Refugees wouldn't be crying. Wounded soldiers wouldn't die. La Republique knows the you break at the shops of our traders. We have a loan scheme that is going to give them some support in the interim for them to raise profit to return the loan for the next batch of people. We should begin preparing ourselves for the transitional phase, because what you saw yesterday shows that the liberation phase is rounding up, and we should make more investment. I ask each and every one of you, wherever you may be, to make also more investment in defense. I will be asking Ambazonians to commit 500,000 US dollars. I will be coming to you personally to make 500,000 US dollars available to defense for us to complete this phase. We are doing something. You will see it soon. Don't give up on your commitment. Commit. It's an investment that will not fail you. If you made an investment 4 years ago, for all of you who are entrepreneurs, imagine the kind of investment we made in blood, deprivation of liberty and treasure. Look how far we've come. Pride of a nation, a flag and anthem, a territorial space we control. Educational system, pick it up. Make the investment, my people. We will deliver to you the new nation with a foundation of prosperity. Don't give up on us. I have constantly reminded you that the amount of division that you think there exists in this liberation war is somehow a fantasy. Chaos is always created by those who are disaffected by stability. Ambazonians are united. They are united. We wouldn't cede an inch of our land, and we wouldn't ask an inch of theirs. Freedom or resistance forever. You got that from Kondengi today. So fellow Ambazonians, I ask you to commit more. As I said, I'll be coming personally to each and every one of you. You know yourselves. Make an investment in the Ambazonian Defense Forces to eliminate the last resistance stronghold of La Republique du Cameroon, and to create more space for the investment you will make in Country Sunday to develop the foundation of our educational system, our economic system, our health infrastructures, to take care of the elderly, the sick, the wounded. You must know the strength you show up our diplomatic arm. We are doing well in our international diplomatic effort. We are making strides, positive steps. You should be confident in the policies we've put in place. They are sound policies. We are respectable people today because we haven't blinked. In the face of genocide, in the face of massacres, in the face of political extortion, we haven't blinked. We've maintained sound political judgment in every decision that we have made. It has served our war of liberation well, and it's going to serve the Ambazonian people well. We will continue to inform you on the strides we are making. Some will remain classified, not for purposes of secrecy, but to avoid sabotage. We should be rest assured the three arms, defense, diplomacy, and internationalization, is all well. You saw yesterday the UK mission of the Ambazonian Governing Council was out demonstrating our citizens in the United States, Ireland, across Europe, Berlin, and other places. Johannesburg, Cape Town the other day, they have all rallied to show that though they are not on GZ, they can still raise the flag, sing the anthem, and make Ambazonia a place everyone, citizen or non-citizen, can take pride in. We have developed and put in place policies that will not only liberate, but will relaunch Ambazonia on the first day of transition. You, the people, will have the ultimate say in the kind of system that will be established in the time of governance. You will have the power and consent to appoint, hire, and fire the people that will take care of instruments of government. For the moment, I want you to focus on liberation. I want you to show respect, continuously educate our people. I mean, make the kinds of sacrifices that are necessary for the defense of our homeland. Be proud citizens of your country. Thank you for all what you have done. It has not only secured the future of the next generation, it's giving hope to all families who've lost loved ones. You plastered big smiles on the faces of our prisoners. They know they are coming home soon. And all of us, not long from now, should be taking our places in the country of our birth, free of the tyranny of a hateful neighbor. It hasn't come cheap. It has come with blood and sacrifice. Thank you, my fellow citizens. God bless you all, and God bless our country.